Hello everyone, this is my review for Monday Night Raw on January 20th, 2014, and, to be honest, being the go-home show for the Royal Rumble, I felt that the show was really bad this week. Mainly because you didn't really have much of a build-up in the terms of the actual Royal Rumble match. You didn't have, throughout this entire build-up going to the Royal Rumble, usually they do something with the Royal Rumble match in the upcoming weeks, whether you see an over-the-top rope challenge or something like that, something that goes around the actual match itself. You didn't see any of that this year. The only thing that they really did to build the match itself is they said who was in it when, they threw Batista in there, and then they made CM Punk the #1 entrant. And that seems to be the route that they've been going to build the match itself. And now, don't get me wrong, the Royal Rumble match is probably one of the best matches of the year, just because of how the match is set up and everything, and it's fun to watch. And in all honesty, at this point, it probably builds itself as it is, because they've done it so many times. But you'd figure they wanted to try to give some kind of meaning, not just to the match, but for the people who are actually in the match. You have the whole aspect of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title match that you get for winning it and everything there. But other than that, what other purposes or how did these people get in there? I remember back in the day when, leading up to the Royal Rumble, you had Royal Rumble qualifying matches out there just to give a purpose or a reason why these people are in the match, or just in a sense, why are they in the match, or how did they get into the match? Those are some of the little things about the lead up to the Royal Rumble match that I've been missing over the last few years. Having having those qualifying matches to give a person a purpose, not just a purpose, but the actual reason why they're in the match itself, or how they got into the match itself. And that's just things that, like I said before, I've just been missing those, because basically the build-up to the Rumble match is just the series of matches, and then they say that, they're in the Royal Rumble match, so okay, they're trying to build momentum to the Royal Rumble and everything, and then eventually over the end is who's going to get screwed over and be made the #1 entrant, or who's going to get the reward and be the number 30 entrant, or something like that, going into the match. So the lead and the build up to the Royal Rumble match itself, I felt was lacking. Now, going on with the whole Batista return, I felt they did it backwards, almost, because over the last couple weeks they've had Alberto Del Rio coming out there and calling out Batista and saying how he's going to eliminate him at the Royal Rumble, he's going to attack him on the return and everything like that. And the way I felt like they did it backwards is, they didn't have him confront Del Rio first. I know Del Rio's not the biggest name star or anything, but the first person he should be confronting is Alberto Del Rio, because they've been doing this whole Twitter war on the outside of the show, and Del Rio's been calling him out on the show and everything. They even go the extra mile of making him go up against Rey Mysterio, who in storyline purposes before has been Batista's friend and everything like that. And instead he comes out during the first segment of the show, which I'll also say a little bit on here. I felt up until the Batista coming out portion of that, the first segment of the show was very good. I thought it was very logical with what they were what they've been trying to go for with the Authority. This with Stephanie and Triple H, they're trying to be these business type people and everything on that aspect, but also kind of have their own little hidden agendas over here. So they confront Orton about attacking Cena's dad and everything like that, and getting into his face about it, even threatening the whole, if things like this continue, you're going to get fired and everything. I thought it was a very logical way for them to keep them in the character for that, And then you kind of have the backstage deal where, you know, Kane and Brad Maddox are trying to do things to screw over certain people to make the Authority happy or feel like this is what they would want or what was best for business type deal, like the whole CM Punk being named the #1 entrant in the Royal Rumble. I thought the way they went about it was very good. And then Batista comes out. And like I said, it's right at the beginning of the show, and you know, he basically makes his reasons why he's back in the WWE and everything like that, and like I said, I just felt like they did it backwards. I felt he should have either have come out with no one there and started talking. Del Rio interrupts him, and they have their scuffle. Batista goes over, and then he kind of says his reasons why he's back in the WWE. Wants Orton or Cena or whoever the WWE World Heavyweight Champion is, he's going to win the Rumble and go on to face him at Mania or just something like that. Instead, they kind of just do it backwards. They give him his reasons why he's back in the WWE, and then he confronts Del Rio after the match with him and Rey Mysterio, which again was a great match, but we've seen it plenty of times before, and we've seen it twice over the last week. So kind of same old on that aspect. The Brock Lesnar Big Show confrontation, didn't really care. You knew what was going to happen. Big Show was going to kind of go over Brock Lesnar here to make Big Show look good, because they're not going to put Big Show over in the match itself. And it's not like Brock Lesnar's going to have a match on freaking Raw anyway. He's not going to have a match on any of the TV shows. He's only on the pay-per-views at that point in time. And at this point, like I said, I don't care about Brock Lesnar. This is what I thought was going to happen when he came back, and it's exactly what's happened. Don't care. He's only going to appear for the pay-per-view matches. He'll probably have a good match, and then he's just going to disappear for 3 or 4 months, come in and get his next match, appear for 1 week, maybe 2, disappear for 2 or 3, and then come back to Raw before the pay-per-view to continue on. And Paul Heyman will have to, you know, be the main focal point of his storylines for the entire time. So I really don't care about Brock Lesnar's match with Big Show. I'm sure it will be a good one, but doesn't matter to me whatsoever on that point. One aspect that I truly did like about the entire Raw show, and I feel they went in at least in a logical sense of building the story, even though I felt like they did it too soon, was the Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt, and the whole Wyatt family deal. I felt they, you know, having Daniel Bryan exit the Wyatt family just a couple weeks after getting in was a little too soon. But the storyline that they decided to go with having Daniel Bryan coming out and explaining, it's like, oh, I was just trying to get in so I could get the Bray Wyatt mentally and everything in that aspect, and just try to get close to Bray Wyatt. I thought that promo was a very logical way of going about it, especially since they did it so soon. It was and that makes it come off a little bit better, and it at least leads into a Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan match for the Royal Rumble. That should be something interesting to watch at the pay-per-view itself. So at least I felt they did a good job there, or at least they went with the most logical route, which came off a lot better than just having him say something like, oh, I just wanted, or, you know, just saying that I didn't really like being part of the family or anything like that. It was like, no, he comes out and says, I never really wanted to be part of the family, just I was trying to get in close to Bray Wyatt to try to get to him. I liked the aspect that they went that route. It felt logical. It felt the best way to go about it. So overall, I felt Raw wasn't good at all going into the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Of course, me personally, I would probably still watch the Royal Rumble, just on the aspect of the Royal Rumble match. It's one of the best matches to watch of the year. And you know, and also even with the end of the show, you had you know, John Cena, you know, do another logical step. You know, him being extremely angry with with Randy Orton, chasing him out of the arena. I wish they would have gone with an aspect that, you know, when he chased him out of the arena, and then Orton got into that car, and then it drove off. It would have been actually kind of cool, or even somewhat funny, if they had a fan plant there, and Cena, convinces them to get their car, and he goes with them, and they go off on a chase at that point in time, and that's just how they end Raw, instead of him coming out and celebrating afterwards, because he was supposed to be playing the extremely angry over Orton attacking his dad and everything like that, which it did come off that way right away, but then he comes out and celebrates with him afterwards. I kind of wanted to see him still show his anger towards Orton at the end of the show. He showed that anger up to the point that Orton ran off, and then it was gone after that. So, just overall, I said before, I didn't think Raw was good. The only reason why I'd be watching the Royal Rumble pay-per-view is because of the Royal Rumble match itself. Don't really care about many of the other matches outside of the Daniel Bryan-Bray Wyatt match. The other two with Big Show and Brock Lesnar, don't really care. And of course Cena and Orton, you kind of feel like you know where they're going to go with it. I liked some of the stuff that they did leading into this match, especially with the way they're using Orton at this point. They really have gotten him to get some crowd heat versus the whole John Cena era because, you know, as many people know, most people who go up against Cena usually get cheered, and then you have the mixed reaction for Cena. It's kind of been the reverse option here. Orton's getting booed a lot, and he's doing a good job of getting heat, getting the crowd to boo him. So we'll see how long that actually continues for. But otherwise, I'm not too interested with the Orton Cena match. We've seen it plenty of times before, and we'll probably see about the same thing again here. So yeah, that's my review this week for Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys for watching.